This conference will now be recorded.
So, good evening and good morning, friends. Welcome to GoOnlineTrainings.com. So, we were talking about incremental loading with the help of lookup and SCD. We had done with the stored procedures, and now the next pattern that we are going to be using merge command. So, this is from the SQL server. Okay, people who know SQL very well. So hardcore SQL developers, okay? SQL developers, they love to use this, okay? Hardcore SQL developers wanted to use merge command to perform the incremental loading. Not only merge command, we can use timestamp, we can use a lot of other things, set commands, lot of things we can use to perform the incremental loading. But if you're a ETL guy, you're going to be using a lookup. And if you're a SQL guy, you may use stored procedures and joins, or you may use merge command. So merge command is recommended by this, by the Microsoft if you're coming from the SQL development. Clear? So now, how can we use merge command in order to perform the incremental loading? Let me quickly jump to uh, SQL Server merge statement to perform the incremental loading, right? So to perform the incremental loading, merge command is used. It is one of the DML statement placed in SQL Server 2008, almost 12 years back. Merge statement is combination statement that can perform insert, update, delete statements based on whether rows that match the selection criteria exist in the target table or not. Clear? So now this is a syntax: merge target table as target using source table as source on condition when the data is matched, you do something, right? So you do update. So when the target is not matched, then you're going to be inserting some data. We are not going to delete any data from the data warehousing. But if you wanted to delete the data from the data warehousing, you can also use, you know, the merge command to delete the data. So always we're going to be performing two operations. One is insert, the other one is update. We never ever delete the data in the data warehousing. But merge statement comes up with insert, update, and delete as well. Clear? So now let me quickly take one table. Let me go and so what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to use, let me say, use TARDIS. Okay, I'm going to be creating one table in TARDIS. This is a source table. So what is the table I'm going to be creating? I'm going to be creating one table called this. Okay, so okay, guys, employee table I'm going to be creating, very simple table. So created, I'm putting some data in this. Let me have some data in this. So I wanted to create dim employee table, not here. I would like to create the dim employee table in my use TARDIS DW. You have to create one more new database for the merge. Clear? So I have to create one table. Now this table is going to be having same structure. Only thing is that a dim employee table, which is the primary key. Clear? So I'm going to be creating first. Let me set up a new data warehouse. Clear? So this is the next pattern you need to create. So one more data warehouse. That's what I would like to implement it. Go to C drive. I think I have data warehousing scripts. Go to data warehouse scripts and create. So underscore merge. Clear? So this is the database I would like to create. When I go down, so here also I have to use this one, Control A, Control C, and go to SQL Server, create one new database. Third is what has happened. So I think this is where the problem. Something has happened here. Control C and Control A, Control V. So this one we should give it here as well, right? Now this is where the mistake, okay? Now if you have this database, let me drop this. Yeah, now let me create. Yeah, we have created one database. The database name is called merge, okay? So this is the database got created. Now inside this, I wanted to create a reference table data as well. Now let me take Control A, Control C, open new query window, and you say go up. Say drag and drop this table, this database, right? Now you say execute it. This is also executed perfectly fine. Click new and open one more thing and try to execute new timetable as well. Just let me go and try to execute this in demo merge. Okay. Now this database is perfectly fine. Now in this database only, I wanted to create one more table. So this is the blank table. Clear? So I wanted to get the data from, source to stage, and from the stage to, you're going to be dumping the data into the dim employee table. Clear? So I have already created. Let me say select star from the.
Hey, Buster. I'm sorry. I think
Yeah.
people are sending messages. I can see they're requesting for doing the policy table or any table. Choose one table as an example. I'm just letting you
Yeah,
know.
we can do that, but let us understand the simple one first. Yeah, let us understand the simple one first. Venkat, can you hear me? Let us understand the concept first and let us do on the complex one. Okay. So better you understand the, simple one first. Clear? So then only you can understand the better things, right? So otherwise you will not be able to understand, right? So let us understand the concept. Then how to implement on one table, we can do it. Clear? Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, if I start doing on the complex one, you don't understand the, the what is called the concept first. Clear? Let us understand on the simple one so that you can understand the concept. Now let us implement one concept on the real time so that it will be better for you to understand the concept clearly. Okay. Now when I go here, so I have created one table. I have some data here, right? So this is the data, I have it. Now this data, you're supposed to get it in the staging. You hope that it is already there. Okay. Now the next one is that you have one dimension table where you need to perform the incremental loading. So what you do, you have to use incremental loading with the help of a merge command. So where you're going to be writing your merge command, you need to write your merge command in your data warehousing. Okay, in this database only, you should be able to write your merge statement. Clear? So let us talk about merge statement, how we are going to be writing it. Let me go back and understand. So it is pretty much easy. So let me take few things and let us understand. So merge syntax is very, very simple. So you say we are into which database? Now this command you have to write, remember this point, you have to write in the data warehousing. Clear? So use data warehouse. Now you say merge target table. What is target table? Dim employee as a destination, or as we can say A, or as B, any naming convention you can give. So dim employee where the data has to go. The source, this is a source table. What is a source table? Source table is employee, but unfortunately, source table is not available here. Where is the source table? It is available in this database. You need to get the table. So you go here, you can tell like this, stardis dot dbo dot employee. So that means what? This table is not available in this database. Clear? But we are writing the merge command in this database. I wanted to get the data from there. For example, if I say select star from the employee table. When I say select star from the employee table, it is not going to work. Why it is not going to work? Because employee table is not available in this database. So if you wanted to read the data from other database, you have to say the database name, that is TARDIS dot what is the employee table. Let me go to employee table, schema. Let me go to TARDIS, and when you go to tables, there is employee table which you have created. So the schema would be DBO dot, I think, right? So that is a schema that you have to use it. So employee schema is DBO. Compulsorily you need to mention DBO. Clear? If you wanted to read something, compulsorily you need to have schema dot employee. Even though you're pointing to this database, I can read the data from another database. Clear? So this is how we should write it. So TARDIS DBO dot employee as S. Clear? Now this is what you should be able to do it. Now we know that this table and this table is having a primary key. What is the primary key? So this table is having, this is the primary key, D dot employee ID. So employee ID we have, right? This is a primary key, or we can say business key. So primary key, so employee dot empid is equivalent to this. So you can have A equals to B equals to A. You can also write like this. So there is no issue at all. We can say S dot EAD equals to D dot EAD because A equals to B equals to A. So you have to remember one more thing. Whenever you perform incremental loading, what is important? Primary key has to be there in the source, right? So we have a primary key here. So this is source, employee as a source. Source employee ID is equals to D dot employee ID. Already we know these things. It is not new to us, right? So let me take and let me increase. So employee table, this is a dim employee table, right? Now we have employee ID, employee name, employee salary. So we have employee ID, employee name, and employee salary, right? So this is the data I have it. Now you have some data in the source. What is the data that you have? So this is the data already available there. Let me simply go there and put it, right? So this is perfectly fine. There is no issue. So we are saying merge command. So merge and blah, blah, blah. We're writing, we're saying on emp dot, we have taken as a source. Dim employee, we have taken as a D. Clear? These are the aliases, right? Now I'm saying if S dot employee ID, D dot employee ID matching. So there are two things. One is called matched, right? The other one is called unmatched. So there are two conditions that we will be writing it. So no match and match. So if something is not matching, so what normally we do? If something is not matching, one, there is no matching data. For two, there is no matching data. For three, there is no matching. There is no match. then we are going to be inserting the data. Clear? So get all the unmatched data here, and you should be able to insert. That's what we're going to be doing. So no match means insert. When matched means you need to update. So that's it. So instead of a lookup, we are going to be using the merge, but merging based on what condition? This condition, primary key when it is matching. So that is what is we need to do. So when this condition, what is the two condition? One is called update, the other one is called insert. Only two things we're going to be doing. Delete operation, we never do it. Let me delete this. Let me delete. So only we're going to be performing two operations. One is called insert, the other one is called update. Clear? Let me talk about this first. You can have anything anywhere, there is no issue at all. Clear? So when this is matched, okay, so then when this equals to this, then we are saying when not matched by the target, that means when you're comparing this and this and not matched by the target is this is what is target. So 1 and 1 is not matching, 2 and 2 is not matching, 3 and 3 is not matching. When so not matched by the target, then insert. Now I'm saying then insert, not matched. So you have to say not matched by the target. So insert, what all we inserting? Employee ID data, employee name data, employee salary data. So employee ID data, name data, salary data. From where? From S dot, from this table. S means this. S dot employee ID. So all the data we're going to be inserting into this. That is the syntax you should write it. Clear? So when everything is matching here, you need to map the primary key to primary key. After mapping it, when not matched by the target, that means what? I have to take this value and compare with this table. I don't have anything. When not matched by this target, now what to take? The unmatched data has to be inserted into this table. The syntax will be like this: insert into this. So these are destination columns, values, and these are the source columns. Clear? So s dot employee ID, comma s dot name, comma s dot salary. So this is the one thing that you need to map it. So this is for the insert. For the update, update means, for example, you got all this data here. You got all the data here. After that, somebody has modified this row. Somebody has updated. Clear? So you got all the data here. This is what will be happening. Then for the update matlab, we need to do the match. Clear? So then update when the record is matched. What do you mean by this? So 1 and 1 is matched, and 2 and 2 is matched, and 3 and 3 is matched. When matched, okay, and remaining columns are unmatched. What is the meaning? So you have remaining columns are d dot name is equals to s dot name. So or s dot name, if this and this is not matched, or if this and this is not matched, if both of them are equal, I don't need. If this name and this name is equal, then I don't need. If it is not equivalent to, or if it is not equivalent to this, get the data. If it is equivalent to this and this, if it is equivalent to this and this, I don't need. So I'm saying when matched means what? When 1 and 1 is matched and remaining columns are unmatched. Sadhana and sadhana is matched, so 1200 and 1000 is unmatched. When any one of the column is unmatched, then what I am doing, unmatched data I am updating. Updating where? Updating into d dot name is equal to s dot name, d dot salary equals to s dot salary. So here we are comparing source data and a destination data, or a destination data, source data. A equals to b equals to a, right? If a destination column is not does not equals to source column, destination column does not equals to source column, then what I'm saying, get the data. Which data I have to get? Source data. Source data you have to update it to the destination. Source, source data is this, and you're updating into the destination. This is what you have to write it. So one is called insert. Insert means simply insert the complete data here, and update means you need to say when matched, and remaining columns you need to use AND operator. Remaining columns are not matched properly, then you're going to be updating The destination table is equivalent to source table. So this is what you got to perform. Now, I don't have any data in the destination table. Clear? So what is my destination table? This is my destination table. I don't have any data here. Guys, I don't have any data here, but I have some data in this table, right? tardis.dbo.emp. Clear? When I execute both of them, I have some data here. I don't have any data here. So this is the merge syntax. You will have insert, update, and delete also. Normally, we are not going to be deleting any data from the data warehousing, even though you delete the data from the OLTP environment. So at the end, you need to put semicolon. If you don't put semicolon at the end, it will give you an error. Remember this. At the end, you need to compulsorily put semicolon. Otherwise, this is not going to work. So always the same logic. Not matched insert, matched means update. So when one and one is matching, you need to look for the other columns are matching or not. If completely matching, you need not update this. If it is not matching, sadhana and 1200 and 1000 is not matched. So only this record will get updated. So that is the update. Let me take this and try to execute. Now, 3 rows are affected. Now you can see the data. Source data, I'm able to get it here. Now let me go to source. Now let me insert 1 row. Okay. Source is having now 4. And let me update something here. Update employee table. Set name is equivalent to let us say Sadhana. So here let us have Sargam. Okay. I wanted to update this where employee ID is equal to 1. I have updated 1 row and let me update one salary as well. Okay. So what is the salary? One insert and one update and one more update for the Kiran. So Kiran ID is 3. Salary is equivalent to, let us say, 4,700 bucks. Okay. Now, if you see these two tables, so Sadhana Sargam, one change, Kiran salary 4,700, it is 4,000. Purnima, one record get added there. Let me execute the complete syntax once again. Clear? So 3 rows got affected by one insert, 2 updates, right? When you try to execute this, you should be able to perform incremental loading for this. Clear? So if you wanted to perform incremental loading, so you can take the complete data, complete this one. You can have in a stored procedure, that is also possible, or you can have the complete one into in your SSIS. Let me go here, create one SSIS package, new project. Okay, let me go to integration. Let me create SSIS underscore. Okay, TARDIS DW underscore merge. So I wanted to create this package project first. Let me go to C drive. Let me have it here. It is for the merge. Let me click on OK. Now you can create a stored procedure and call the stored proc here, or the complete code you should be able to write it here. So the first package is, for example, load dimension table or load employee table, whatever you would like to have it. Data warehouse, let me say load employee. Let me go and drag and drop execute SQL task. Okay, so double click on this. So you should be able to point it to data warehouse. Clear? You should be able to point to data warehouse. Let me create new connection. Server name is dot data warehouse. I have to use TARDIS DW merge. Now click on OK. Now you go and copy and paste the merge command. What is the merge command? So don't use, okay? So only this to this. At the end, you need to have the comma. So this I have to copy this code and go. You should be able to paste it here. That's it. Okay. Now done. So this is, you would like to rename. This is the destination. Only we don't have source. Destination TARDIS DW underscore merge. Clear? Make this as convert into project connection. That's it. Now, whenever you wanted to execute it, you can execute it. But before that, let me insert one more row. Okay. And try to execute the package. Now let us have Sonia here. So all these things you should do with a simple table first, guys. Without doing simple table, don't directly jump onto the policy table. You'll go mad. First, understand the concept, then implement the same thing in the policy table. Now we have one package is created. Let me execute this. Okay. So in this, I have the complete merge statement. Clear? So which is executed successfully, fine. Let me go and try to execute it. You should be able to get Sonia. Clear? So the same thing is available. So either you can copy paste much, or you can also create a stored procedure. Create proc, say user stored procedure. You say data load, okay, dim employee using what? Using much as begin, okay, as begin. At the end, you have to say end and go. And you need to take the complete code, use a tab. Clear? So this is the complete code you're writing. Create a proc USP load dim employee using merge command as begin. This is the complete code. At the end, you need to have the semicolon. Let me execute this. Now, where you're going to be executing? This you're going to be executing into this. Now you go to your TARDIS, merge, okay. Now you refresh. You should be able to get a lot of tables. We have it, right? When you go to programmability, you will be able to find one stored procedure. The stored proc, you know how to call the stored proc, okay? So how to call the stored proc? Calling proc. So it is execute and proc name. So this is the proc name. You should be able to call like this. Okay, guys. So you should be able to call. I don't have anything. This is a stored proc. So this you should be able to call. You can also take this copy. You go, instead of writing the complete command here, you can delete and you can say calling the stored proc. So like that, you can create. So always you're going to be calling a stored procedure, which is internally is using merge command. So this is what you should be able to perform and you should be able to do that. Okay. So this is the simplest one that you have to create first and do it. Now, once you do this, then we can plan with the execute, we can plan with the original tables. Okay. So what is the original table that you have? Now, if you go to our database, the first table is got. Let me close all of them. I don't want to save this. I don't want to save this. So now if you wanted to implement, so what you need to write? Let us write a stored procedure. Create a proc. So user stored procedure underscore data warehouse. Okay. Load load dim employee, or you can say data warehousing. Load dim employee, let us say using merge. Okay. So this is what you should be able to write. Now the logic is very, very simple. What is the logic? So already you can get the logic from here. You can, when you say modify, right click, when you say modify this, you can get the logic. This is the logic. You need to simply copy and paste it there and keep on modifying it. Okay, what is the dimension table name? So where we are going to be writing this, we are going to be writing use this one. Now necessary modifications you should be able to do. So what is a target table? Target table means dimension dot policy. This is what we need to start the first table, right? This is the target table. What is the source table? The source table you will be able to get not from the TARDIS, directly. You will be able to get from the SCD staging. Sorry, from the staging we will be able to get the data. So let me go and where is TARDIS stage? Now here you have to take the data, that is stage policy, right? Now here you need to say TARDIS underscore stage dot dbo dot policy as S. Okay, this is a destination table. D means, so this is a destination table, and this is what is called source table. Okay, so then basis on what is the primary key? So primary key you need to have D dot. When you open your ETL mapping document, it will tell you what is the primary key, what is the foreign key, everything is available. The primary key is master number and master number. Clear? So stage dot master number and this one master number. So this you need to map. So control C, you say D dot or S dot master number, okay, is equivalent to D dot master number. This is one, and one more thing we have. What is that? Master sequence number, right? So this is the primary key. So D dot master sequence number is equivalent to S dot master sequence number. So this is the one you have to write. So you can say S equals to D or D equals to S, doesn't matter, because A equals to B equals to A, but both of them should be matching properly. So you can say S dot means you need to use the proper S dot this one and D dot this. So this is what is called primary key or business key is mapping. Okay. So when everything is mapping, if everything is mapped, so when everything is not matched by the target, write all the column names here. Guys, write all the column names here, and you should be able to get the data and get complete data from the source table. So source table is this S dot blah blah blah. Clear? When matched by this, what are the columns we have to map? So here you have to carefully understand only this data you have to check. What are the things we need to check? One is called year of account, master reference number, and domicile, and inception date and expiry date. Okay, so only these columns you need to check in the update. Take this, so you need to write only those columns. Year of account, okay, so does not equals to year of account. So comma, master reference number does not equals to master reference number. You say or, not and condition. Say or, but what? S dot year number does not equals to D. S means source. And S dot source master reference number does not equals to destination or, right? All this condition you need to write. So I have taken this. The next one I have to take it is domicile. So domicile equals to domicile, like that. All the data or condition. So S dot domicile does not equals to D dot domicile. Clear, guys? Like that, if this is matched and remaining columns are unmatched, year of account. Okay, like that, guys, you need to write. So this is one column, this is second column, third column, domicile is done, then after domicile, what we have? Then domicile, we have inception date and expiry date. These two columns also you need to include it there. Or inception date, s dot inception date is equivalent to, it does not equivalent to d dot inception date. Clear? So that is the one. Or the last one. So s dot expiry date does not equals to d dot expiry date. So that's it. So you need to check all these things. When primary key is matched and remaining columns are not matched, then you need to update. What all you need to update? Same thing. So d dot account, okay, d dot account is equivalent to s dot account. S dot account data has to be updated. This is done. Then this one you need to have. So here remember d dot data has to go from the S. Clear, comma. So all the things you need to write. Then domicile, inception date, this date, that date, you have to write carefully here. That's it. So here always write a d dot domicile should get updated with s dot domicile. Put a comma. So d dot inception date should get the data from where? S dot inception date. So like that, comma. Then d dot, that is a destination date, destination table should be will equivalent to the source table. Clear, guys? So this is how you should be able to update it. So insert. So what are the columns you have to insert? So all the columns of data. What columns in the dimension policy? Whatever be the columns that we have it. So how do we get the dimension policy columns? Let me go to here. Let me go dimension dot policy. So let me go. Say select a top 1000 rows. When you execute like this, you will be able to get all columns like this. Okay. So these are the columns. Control copy. You go there. So here you have to include only those columns. Insert into these columns. See, without writing, I'm able to get all columns list. Policy ID, master number, blah, 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 values. Now you need to also same columns you have to get from s dot blah, blah, blah. Okay. So you need to get and write these columns list here from the source. Okay. Source also may be having the same columns, but different columns. You have to write the complete columns from the source. Then you should be able to get the data and bring the data here. Clear? So this is what you have to write at the time of writing. But one thing you have to observe carefully. Now here I'm using simply a dim employee table in our real-time case study. So we are also using a lot of reference tables. Okay, it is not only this table we are using, right? We are also using to get the data. See, when you go here, we are using the status X reference table to get the status ID. Clear? So what we have to do, you have to say here, you have to go. It is not as a S now. You need to join this as, you can say as yes, join. You have to join what table? Join this table. S dot X reference. So the complete logic you should be able to get it here. Okay. Or if you think that it is completely problem for you, first what you do, you leave this, just leave it here. Now you try to do the simple join. Select a star from the TARDIS stage underscore DBO underscore dimension dot policy as a join. Okay. you write simple joins because lookup means join. Lookup on this one, okay? X reference table. You know already you have written this simple join as B based on what is the condition? A dot what? A dot status code. So here you will be able to get so master status code. Copy A dot master status code is equivalent to B dot master code, right? Status code, I think. Status code. Okay. We are going to be merging this and getting the date. Clear? So this lookup, we have done it. Then you take one more lookup here, product dot X reference. Now you say control C. So you say join product dot X reference as a C on A dot. So on what basis I have to do it? When you go the table master product code, copy this master product code is equivalent to so A dot this one and C dot got product code. So this is what we have mapped it. Like that, you map all the columns, okay, all the columns and all this data you dump into one table. You create one table. You get only the required columns. You don't need all the columns. Whatever be the columns that you need, get only those columns. Clear? And write those columns and dump into one more table called some temporary table. You can say some policy underscore some temp table. Let me create policy temp table. You create all the tables which are available here. You should be able to get all the things, okay, and get necessary things in the select clause. If you wanted to keep something as one, for example, you have some default value, put everything. I think you would have written all of them in the previous example, but only extra thing that you need to do, dump all the data into one policy temp table. Now this temp table is getting all the data from all the tables. Now what you do, you simply go and here using, you can say, policy temp here. Okay, now you take policy temp as a source. Clear? So what you're doing, all the data you're combining and you're dumping, but remember, take only whatever be the columns that you require, not all the columns you require, right? Because all the columns you require is these columns, right? So that is what you're already writing a stored procedure. What are the columns you need? That only you select. In the previous stored procedures, you get only those columns, but extra thing I'm saying, dump this one into one temporary table. Use this temporary table as a source. Clear? Then join everything, then continue further. Clear, guys? So this is the extra thing that you should be able to do it. Now you get the data, dump into like this, and you create one table so that you will be able to get this. Clear? So you create, then you use that table and try to prepare like this. Guys, am I clear? So this is what you should be able to do it. If you wanted to really a local temporary means, you can also put hash temp. Clear? Otherwise leave it. So once everything is done, so this is the first one, you have to write like this. Okay, this is the one you should be able to write in your stored procedure. So getting all the data, so getting required data. Okay, now if you have it already, temp table is created. Again, when you say hash in a policy temp, it may give you issues. So what you write here, if exist, select star from the sys dot tables where name is equivalent to this. If the same table is already exist, you write like this, exist. Now you say drop the table So this is the must condition that you need to have it. So you do all the lookups and put the default values and don't put star, put only the required fields that will be available in this. Now use this as a source table. Now what you do, you're going to be creating this and doing updations. Clear? Now whenever you execute a proc, it is going to be dropping the old table and it's going to be getting the fresh data and dumping the table into this, and it is going to be performing incremental loading by this. Clear, guys? You do one table first. You do one table first, that is in employee table. Then slowly you try to do with the second table, that is policy, that is dimension dot policy. Okay, policy table will be the complex one. So do it slowly one by one. So only thing is that if you're able to join like this, if you're able to join like this, then it is not no more complexity you can find there. Clear, guys? So this is what the required data you get it. Store the data into one more table. Use the table as a source table. Now, anyhow, we have a destination table. The remaining things are like this. Clear? You have to have the complete destination table column names here and the source columns. So compulsorily you need to write s dot then source column name s dot, because s is a S is a policy temp table, so that is a source. Clear? So here you need not say D dot. Clear? Simply columns of the destination and columns of the source. This is for the insert and this is for the update. And remember, at the end, you have to put semicolon. You have to put semicolon and you have to create a stored procedure. Clear, guys? This is for the dim policy table that you have to create. Clear, guys? So if you have any questions, you're welcome.